Hi everyone, and welcome to your first lesson on Adobe Illustrator. So Adobe Illustrator, in case you haven't already heard, it's a graphics package used by a lot of people, a lot of designers these days, and it's mainly used to create 2D graphics. We'll talk a little bit more about the types of graphics it can produce in class, but essentially they are what is called vector-based graphics. Now in today's lesson we're going to have a look at learning to use the pen tool. Now, a little bit of a background, the pen tool is perhaps the most powerful tool in Illustrator, and it can be used to create countless lines, curves, shapes, and serves as the building block for illustration and design. The tool is used for creating anchor points. Now you'll get to look at how these work in a few minutes, and by connecting those points with lines we can connect further to create different shapes. The use of the pen tool is perfected through practice, and you'll see what I mean when we get into this. You're probably at first going to think that this is really bizarre, like really weird in terms of how you control it, because it's a little bit finicky, a little bit strange, but after a period of time you'll learn to appreciate the tool for its speed. Now, unlike many graphic software tools that have clear use and limitations, the pen tool is extremely flexible and encourages creativity. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have a look at this Texan Bulls logo here. So this is actually an NFL team in the US. So think gridiron American football sort of stuff. Now there's no particular reason why I've picked this logo to replicate, other than the fact that it's relatively simple and it's got some nice shapes in there, or nice curves and a few straight lines. So we can see the star, there's a blue section, there's a red section, and I just think it's a good logo just to get started. Now, we're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to be replicating this logo, and we want to replicate it as closely as we can as possible. So that means also being able to match the colors perfectly. And we'll be using the eyedropper tool inside of Adobe Illustrator to do that. So without further ado, let's make a start on this. So the next thing you really want to do is to, in Moodle here, so this is our little Moodle course, which you're already no doubt enrolled in, and you're going to go and find this logo here, the Houston Texans logo, which is this guy, and you're just going to right click and save that image. So I'm just going to save that image to my desktop, and I'll just hit save. So there it is, it's saved as a GIF image onto my desktop. Now the second thing that you're going to need to do is to launch Adobe Illustrator. Now I've already got Adobe Illustrator launched in the background here. So basically what I've got set up here is an A4 document, if you like, and it is set up to be landscape. Now I'm operating on a Mac laptop here, but in our lab there we're on PC, so it might look a little bit different. But pretty much the tools and all of that sort of stuff are in the same place. Now, the first thing that we're going to need to do is to bring our image into Illustrator. So think about inserting. Well, in Adobe products, we basically call that placing. So I'm going to go up to File and Place. So there it is there. And now I'm going to browse for that file, which was the Houston Texans logo, which is that one there, and I can see that's on my desktop, so I'm just going to place that. Great, and then I get this little icon there, and I'm just going to click somewhere around here. Boom, there you can see it. Now it's come through, and it's quite large, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to grab this control point, this bottom right hand control point, and I'd like to shrink that down. Now, notice right now, I can scale it down, and it's not scaling proportionally. So I need to use the Shift key. In case you haven't learnt that already, using the Shift key and grabbing that control point is very useful, because it just helps to scale things down proportionally. And you always want to be doing that. It's never good practice to just randomly scale things down. So that's about the size that you want to scale it down to, and I've just clicked off, and there it is. Now, why do we want to actually recreate this logo? Well, here's the thing. If I zoom in here, you can see that there are pixels there, and we actually want to create a graphic that will never ever become pixelated. So think about if we were going to enlarge this logo and have it printed maybe on a billboard or maybe on the side of a truck or on a stadium, side of a stadium, even on the side of a jet plane, we need that logo to maintain its crispness and always look nice and clean. All right, Control plus and minus zooms in and out, girls. So if you haven't done that already, Control plus or minus. If you're on a Mac, that would be Command plus or minus, but most of you are obviously going to be on the PCs. All right, so next thing that we need to do is to set up our layers. Now, at present, on the right-hand side here, I'm looking for what looks like a bit of a sandwich, and I can't see it. Now, you should be able to see it on the side. So I'm actually going to turn it on by going to Window and Layers. Okay, so there I have my layers here. Now, I can see here that I have the layer. I've only got one layer, in fact, and I can see that my logo is on there. Now, I'm going to rename this layer. I'm just going to double-click there, and I'm just going to call that Original. Oop, Original. There we go, and hit Enter. And I'm now going to create a new layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace this logo on top of this original artwork, if you like. So imagine a overhead transparency or a piece of tracing paper over the top of this. So I need to create a new layer. So click on this one here, and now I've got layer 2 here. Now I'm going to rename that, double click, and I'm just going to call this New Art or New Artwork. There we go, done. So this layer, New Artwork, is on top of the original layer. It's very important that this is on top of this layer. The other thing that I want to do here is I don't want to move this original artwork around. In fact, if I switch to my original and then grab this and kind of move it, I'm now going to drop in or click on the lock here. Now, in this space here, there is a lock. There you go. I've just clicked on the lock, and that means I cannot move this now. Okay, I'm going to switch back to my new artwork layer simply by clicking on it. Alright, so we're just about ready to get started by tracing this with our pen tool. Now, first things first, girls. What you want to make sure is that your fill color up here is switched to none. And that's that one there with the red diagonal line through it. And that basically means that there's not going to be any fill when we start creating our artwork. The other thing that you're going to need is to have stroke. So that's going to be the outline, if you like, or in this case, the lines that you're going to create. Now, because this color here is closely related to being in that sort of shade or tone to black, I certainly don't want to be going around here with black because it's going to be difficult for me to see. So I'm actually going to switch it to this light blue color. Now, just for the sake of making this easy to see, I'm also going to bump up the thickness of my stroke. I'm going to have it maybe 3 for the time being. Whoop, actually, see what I did here? I just set the fill to that color. In fact, the fill needs to be none, and the stroke needs to be blue. There we go. Alright, so let's get busy with the pen tool. Now, the pen tool is this one here. Now, notice there's a little triangle. If I left mouse click, there's some other options here. We want to be making sure that we're always using the pen tool here. So I've got that selected. Now this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click pretty much on that point there, and then I'm going to come across and left click here. Now at this point here, my left mouse button is still pressed down, and I'm actually moving the mouse to pull in the line there. Now I want to finish the line there or the curve there, so I'm going to press enter or escape. Use the escape button. So you can see I've created that curve nicely in there. Now the next thing that I want to do, I want to produce a curve that goes around here. Now I'm probably not going to be able to do this all in one hit, so I'm going to go from about here and break it up maybe to about there. Now the important thing is, girls, that you are choosing the anchor point. And you can see when you hover over the anchor point, it will tell you that it's on the anchor point. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to come around to here. I'm going to select or hold down the left mouse button there. I'm holding it down, and I'm bending that shape until I just get it kind of right. Oh, oh, there it is. Okay, so I've done that, and I'm going to hit escape there again, and now I'm going to click on the anchor point once more, click on that point there, and I'm just going to kind of finesse that in there, press escape, and now I'm going to do this area down here. Now this area here, you can see it curves this way and then it curves in, so I can't do it all in one go. I have to essentially split it. So I'm going to click there and click around about there and bend that in, hit escape, and then I'm going to click on the anchor point there and click on that point there, and then I'm going to bend that part in, hit escape again. So think of escape as ending your work there. Now I'm going to create a straight line here. Now to create a straight line, it's very simple. We just click on the anchor point and then we click on that point there. So notice I'm not holding the left mouse button down to bend that in. Alright, escape again, and now I'm going to click on this part here because I want to put a curve in all the way up to here. So I'm going to click anchor point, I'm going to move up to the anchor point up here, and then I'm going to bend with my mouse in there. And look at that, I've created a very nice looking shape there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same on this side. So in fact, what I'll do here, I'm going to start here, click there. I reckon I can get that all in one go. Let's see how we go here. Okay, there's me kind of bending it. Yep, that'll do. Escape. Now I'm going to go from here to here. Now this is a bit of a straight line here. I'll press escape at the end. So we're always terminating our pen tool before we start a new path, if you like. So straight line there. Escape. I'm going to put a curve in here. So I'm going to click and bend that in. Okay, straight line here. So click, click, very straightforward. Okay, now let's see if I can go. Can I go from here up to the point there and bend that all in? Look at that. It's not quite right, is it? So what I'm going to have to do is split this again. So I'll just undo that part. I'm going to go to about here, I think. So there I am. I'll do that next part from there through to here. Yep, that looks okay. Escape. Okay, I think I'll split this one. I'll go from here to about there. How's that look? Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? There we go. Finish there. Pick up again. Click there, and I think that's probably just a slight bend in there. Wonderful. All right, so I've now created two pieces of geometry, or my two shapes, and now I just need to create the star. So we'll do the same with the pen tool with the star. By the way, girls, if you want to zoom in, you can just do your Command+, and I'm just going to use my hand tool to pan across. You can see there I should have done that a bit neater. I should have maybe zoomed in. All right, let's go back to the pen tool. Pen tool, star. Straightforward, this one. This is the easiest of the lot because they're just straight lines. So you can just see I'm clicking. Look at that. Mr. Wilson, you're a legend. And almost there. Boom, done. All right, so this is what we've got. Remember, we're doing all of this on our new artwork layout. Now, here's the thing. Now what we want to do is we want to sample these colors that are directly under here. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make sure I've got my selection tool checked so I can actually click on that shape there. Then I'm going to go over to the eyedropper tool, which is this one over here. Really useful tool, the eyedropper tool, because it allows you to sample colors exactly. So when as you can see, the original artwork is under here, but what I want to do is color pick, if you like, that color. Watch what happens here. Boom. So it's now filled all of that artwork that I just created with that exact color. Excellent. All right, now what I'm going to do, we'll do this shape here. So I'm going to click on here, notice, selection tool, click on this one, pick up my eyedropper tool, sample the color. Boom, done. Okay. Now notice that my star is now, well, you can see where it is. It's not white anymore because that was actually the color underneath. So I need to make sure that we sample that color. So I've got that selected and I'm just going to sample it and actually use the white background here. There we go. Wonderful. Alright, so that's my logo that I've just created. Now these are all separate pieces. So what I'm actually going to do here is drag a box around these guys, and right click and group them. Okay, now what does that look like now? Just to show you girls, I'm just going to move this artwork off to the side here. So this is the original artwork here. Now if I zoom in, we can see that that becomes pixelated. Now let's have a look if we zoom in on this guy over here. Look how crisp and clean this looks. Now, I'm actually going to turn off visibility of my original layer here. So I've done that, and I'm just going to use my selection tool, grab this guy, and I'm going to place it back in the middle. But what I can do now is that I can actually stretch or resize this, again using my shift key to keep that nice and proportionally constrained. And you can see there, we've done an awesome job of recreating that logo exactly. And believe me, like if you were to go into a graphic design company or a graphic design office and you asked them to digitize your logo, they're probably going to charge you a few $100s for just doing exactly what we did. So that's the task. By all means, pause the video as you go through it. You can watch it and just get an idea for how it works. But the key to this is doing as few control points as possible that help to make everything nice and smooth. If you do lots and lots of control points, it's going to become very jagged. So that's what you want to have a crack at. Give it a go, and hopefully you have some success in that. And then as we progress, after we've done this one, we'll do some more logos. I think our next logo. What will we do? We'll do the Twitter logo next. All right. See you in the next video.